After a year of hype, Tekken 8 has brought us a new generation of air juggles, electrics, and wall combos. Players have been waiting to take Tekken 7 out behind the barn and get ready for the next battle with a cast of returning favorites and exciting newcomers. Before the game came out, we got a taste of the first season of DLC with series staple Eddie Gordo. While it's always exciting to see who's coming back, Tekken has a reputation for some of the wackiest guest characters in fighting games. These range from the adorable anime dinosaur Gon to Walking Dead's Negan. A new Tekken means new guests that are guaranteed to get everyone equal parts hyped and infuriated. So here are the guest characters that I want to see in Tekken 8.
Number 1. Tifa Lockhart.
The Final Fantasy franchise has been a welcome addition to fighting games for quite some time. Cloud's inclusion in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS was one of the most unexpected additions to the series roster. And his archenemy Sephiroth invited himself to Smash Ultimate by one-shotting that game's final boss. He didn't even get a letter. Between those two reveals, Tekken 7 saw the protagonist of the, at the time, latest Final Fantasy, Noctis, join the roster as its third DLC character in 2018. Considering that Square Enix is in the middle of the Final Fantasy VII hype train, with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth releasing 1 month after Tekken 8, it would be a no-brainer to include 7's leading lady, Tifa Lockhart, as a playable fighter. Fans of Tifa already got to let her fists fly in Remake, but being able to string an air juggle into a dolphin kick rage art would be something special. And I know we all saw Harada tweet out that he doesn't have any plans for DLC yet, but we all know better than to believe him. Her stage would be an absolute no-brainer. You start on the bridge in front of Maka Reactor 5 where you fight the Airbuster, then give players the option to knock each other over the edge into the iconic church, crashing onto the flower bed that Aerith spent weeks of her life cultivating amidst this capitalist hellscape, you inconsiderate jerks.
Number 2. Leon S. Kennedy.
Akuma having an active role in Tekken 7's story mode might have been one of the greatest crossovers in the history of fighting games, outside of Smash. While some fans anticipate another Street Fighter character in the future, it'd be one heck of a curveball to include a character from an equally iconic Capcom franchise like Resident Evil. And who better to pick than Leon S. Kennedy, the protagonist of the greatest game in the series, and possibly of all time, Resident Evil 4. His iconic roundhouse kick and suplex would translate perfectly into Tekken, with the former being a guard-crushing orbital and the latter be a command grab so strong it would even impress King, the literal king of suplexes. Recent remake of RE4, along with past sequels and CGI films, have demonstrated his prowess for CQC and gun kata that would complement established characters like Nina Williams and newcomer Victor Chevalier. And it wouldn't even be the first time the Tekken series has welcomed a guest from a character from a zombie horror franchise. Remember Negan from The Walking Dead? Leon's inclusion would be a great opportunity to introduce martial arts that haven't been seen in the series before. His fighting style combines Taekwondo, Sistema, Jiu-Jitsu, and Krav Maga. 3 out of those 4 styles have never had any representation in this series, and it'd be very welcome. But most importantly of all, just think of all the dumb one-liners they would give him when fighting the bears.
Number 3. John Wick.
Tekken revels in absurdity, due in no small part to a respect for classic martial arts films. So it would be fitting for the latest entry to embrace the modern classic of the genre, John Wick. And honestly, I don't even know what I should say at this point. It's Keanu Reeves in Tekken. I think you're already sold. And he'd be an instant top tier, and it would be completely justified. We'd get Kali and shoot wrestling in the Tekken series, and you'd even get to use his Kevlar jacket as a parry stance. That'd be so sick! And ooh, every time he fights Leroy, he should be able to pet Sugar. Give him a small reminder of the last time he was actually happy before his life turned into a never-ending spiral of betrayal, knife fights, and neon. And plus, you know he would be down to do the mocap. For me, his ideal stage would be the final location in John Wick 4. The perfect atmosphere for any final tournament round. And you could use the staircase! Come on, let us knock each other down those stairs like it's dead or alive. Tekken needs more of that goofy shit.
Number 4. Snake.
Okay, how is it that Solid Snake has been in 2 Smash Bros. Games, but no traditional fighting games? Like, the Metal Gear franchise is on just as much wacky anime super spy bullshit as Tekken. He would be a perfect fit. And you could even give him codec calls with Otacon for every other member of the cast. Yeah, that'd be a ton of work, but he's DLC. And don't tell me that David Hayter wouldn't jump at the chance to record new Solid Snake dialogue, even if it was just, "This is Snake. That's some good-ass Tekken." And hey, Konami would probably let him do it this time. But which Snake do you add? Solid Snake, but do you use the young Snake or the old Snake? And then there's Big Boss, whose game you're getting a remake of this year. My solution would be all of them, and none of them. Alright, so you include every version of Snake as an alternate costume, but you imply that this is a Snake exclusive to the Tekken universe. Gamer Snake. Gamer Snake is the ultimate Solid Snake fanboy. He owns every version of every release, completed each game on European Extreme difficulty, and actually just sleeps in a cardboard box. This is basically what Kojima tried to do with Venom Snake and Metal Gear Solid 5, where it turns out that you, the player, were the true hero of the story. Except, people aren't nearly as disappointed this time. Spoilers, by the way. As for his stage, there are so many iconic locations from across the series that I can't really pick just one. You've got Shadow Moses, the field where Naked Snake fought Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 3, and you got Mount Snake more from the end of 4. It's tough. Well, we can just use the same solution I have for which snake to use. You pick all of them, and secretly none of them. Metal Gear fanatics are very aware that this series loves to play around with VR technology. So you just have the players just fight in VR simulations of each one of these iconic locations. And then you can just use wall breaks and floor breaks to just break through these digital landscapes. And who cares if it breaks the environmental immersion? It's all just a game anyways. Or is it?
Number 5, Batman.
Because Batman. I guess I actually have to explain myself. Look, at this point, it's scientifically proven that you can just put Batman in any setting, and he just works. You got Vampire Batman? Sure. Cowboy Batman? Why not? A happily married Batman? Okay, maybe not that one. But he's crossed over with the Aliens, Predator, and even Godzilla at this point. Having him as a guest character in Tekken would be just another Tuesday for our Caped Crusader. Maybe Hirata could get on the phone with WB, make a trade for the next Injustice? Anyone else want to see a Mishima Electric Wind Godfist the Kryptonian? I don't know. I just don't know who you get to voice him, though. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. I would just like to be able to play as Batman, something that isn't Injustice. And, I can only replay the Arkham series so many times. Maybe base it off Lego Batman. Or Batman Ninja.
Number 6, Luke.
I'll freely admit, I'm a weirdo for this, but I've had a soft spot for Luke since his debut in Street Fighter V's final season. I think it comes from me being an extremely casual fan for most of my life, and the promise of him being the future of Street Fighter, coupled with the possible lore implication of him being a young Captain Commando, just ticked all the right boxes for me. But I still think that Tekken 8 got a Street Fighter character like how 7 got Akuma. Luke would be the funniest pick. His voice actor, Alex Lee, has propelled the character into Himbo Hall of Fame, and I would love to see how he would bounce off the myriad clashing tones of Tekken's cast. I have a strong feeling he'd become best friends with Paul. Plus his backstory is him joining the military to protect people like his father did. He'd be all about entering the King of Iron Fist tournament, rising through the ranks to take on a warmonger like Kazuya. Tekken 7 already burnt out people on 2D characters with their wacky super meters and mucking up games. So imagine Luke with 8's heat system, rage system, then Street Fighter 6's overdrive all at once. That'd be stupid. But it's a kind of stupid I can get behind. You definitely have to make it so his Sandblaster goes over the heads of every character with a wave dash, though. Every Mishima should be able to recreate the Street Fighter 6 box art.
Number 7, Baki Hanma.
People nowadays complain about Tekken being too anime, and I would have to disagree. I don't think it's anime enough. And this isn't because I play Victor, which is why, and and many others, have been clamoring for Baki Hanma from the eponymous Baki manga to make it into Tekken 8. To put it simply, Baki is a martial arts series that takes the type of insanity you would expect from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and dials it up to 12. I'm talking about man-eating grenades, a guy shadowboxing against that imaginary praying mantis until he pisses himself, and the main character's dad watching him lose his virginity as an anime power-up. Baki's story has that messed up family drama that falls perfectly in line with the Mishima lore that forms the backbone of Tekken's story. And if you think the body proportions in Baki are too weird for Tekken, take another look at Fakumram and get back to me.
Number 8, Kung Fury.
In a world where we're getting increasingly sick of 80s nostalgia, you can't not love Kung Fury. Okay, yes you can, but you've got to at least respect what it aspires to be. This is a hard-boiled cop on the edge that went back in time to kill Adolf Hitler, the Kung Fuhrer, using nothing but martial arts. This is absolutely the kind of insanity that's been the lifeblood of Tekken for 30 years, and I'm shocked the series hasn't attempted time travel yet.
Don't actually do that. That's a bad idea.
Imagine hearing David Hasselhoff's True Survivor in a Tekken match. That would get everyone's blood pumping like no other song in the series. And imagine fighting in the Viking Age with laser raptors, and Thor, the god of thunder, just chilling in the background, smiting Nazis. You heard me right. Laser raptors.
On an unrelated note, Harada, please bring back Alex.
Number 9. Klonoa.
I just realized we're 9 entries deep in this list, and there hasn't been a single furry yet. Time to fix that. For realsies. Klonoa is one of the most slept-on platformer mascots of all time, and unfortunately, Namco's lackluster remaster of his first 2 games didn't help things much. Klonoa is like if the Kirby devs made a Sonic OC, a plucky little guy that speaks in wahoos and doopadoos. He travels from world to world to save those in need, along with their dreams. And he does it all with a handy-dandy ring that grabs all manner of no-thoughts, head-empty baddies to use them as projectiles. He even uses them to double jump, which you know in Tekken would be a 1+2 command grab that could break through the floor. And just imagine all those wacky mix-ups you'd get with those adorable ear, wing, limb things of his. His inclusion would be worth it solely for how hilarious this design would be in Tekken's modern, hyper-realistic art style. It would probably end up like those mock-ups the God of War art director did of the Star Fox crew. And if we can have a bear fight with Mishima-style karate, we can have Klonoa. Probably. Let me dream. Honorable mentions. The Landlady from Kung Fu Hustle. This is one of the greatest martial arts movies of all time, and she would be a perfect fit. But how do you bring her into Tekken without misrepresenting her canonical power level? She would just fold the entire cast. And unfortunately, we're living in an age where every new character has to be tournament viable. So I don't think this could work, but I'm not a game designer. Captain Falcon. All right, I know you've seen those mods of Captain Falcon in Tekken 7 air comboing Heihachi across the building of Violet Systems, and I want it to, but this is Nintendo we're talking about. It can't happen. I'm not even sure if any of them know who Captain Falcon is. When was the last time we had an F-Zero game? Sabin from FF6. All right, this one's for the Final Fantasy fans that are sick of all the 7 stroking. He'd probably be the coolest, most appropriate member in the series to add to Tekken, if only for the fact that you would be able to suplex a train onto someone as a rage art. Just work backwards from there. I don't know the moveset, but they're designers, they can figure anything out. Metal Sonic. I realized I didn't put any robots on this list, and he's really cool, and we're probably not going to see him in the next Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I like Shadow. I also really like his game. I know I'm a freaking weirdo, but bro, Metal Sonic doesn't need a gun. He's already a gun.
Number 10. Evelyn Quan.
If you haven't somehow seen this movie, fix that. I'll wait 2 hours and 19 minutes. All right, now that we're back, I'm sure you see the vision. Evelyn's ability to view other versions of herself and derive new techniques from the lives she could have lived is an amazing concept for a fighting game character. You could have her perform an embarrassing action like eating lipstick or chugging bleach as a keys charge and unlock a new stance out of that. Imagine just spinning someone around like a sign spinner, carrying someone around like Rakakuni, or using Pinky Kung Fu. You can even steal from Alpha Wayman's playbook and use the fanny pack. You might not be able to include the butt plug though, which is a shame. That would be a great rage art. All right, that's the list. Those are the characters that I'd like to see the most in Tekken 8. Do you think those are good picks? Do you think I'm an idiot? Do you hate me for maining Victor? You probably do. Deal with it. If you enjoyed the video, liked it. If you don't, do it anyway. Engagement's great. Subscribing would be awesome. Hit the bell if you want to see more from us, and hope you have a great day. Bye.